Okay, babe. Let's start this. You're taking your red cam. You know what else Miranda does. And you know what? See, you're naked all night long. So you touch my boobs in time, yeah. So, we'll do that. Take my nails too, okay? I don't have here because I'm plugging into my USB hub right now. We'll see. But once it falls off, I want to stay up. Let's stay up. Okay. So yeah. Try it this way so you can enjoy it. Yep. Turn back this way. There you go. Oh, you turn the other eye too. There you go. Okay, alright. This way, okay? Okay, good enough. So far, I got the tea. I can probably eat more M&M's there, okay? So, because you can take it, we can set up. Okay? So that wasn't a cute manifesto. But we're going over the webcam and I just said I can't even back of manifesto. And I my window so I don't need to mess up that one bit. I told I have to get something. Anyway, I hope you like more of these new pixels. So this supposed to not change. So you keep seeing that for a while on the webcam, okay? I'll be right back. Okay, man, I'm back. It'll take a minute, okay? So, remember these when it comes. See you better this way, huh? Yep. Maybe a little notepad on here, okay? Like this. Opens like this, you know? You might want to include statement semester, what's a real? You know, Emerson artists, what's a real? There you go. No, they're different. Let's turn back on. I'm gonna turn this way. There's 3 in this, okay? That's it. All different colors, red. These, but Okay, babe. Back in my room. Okay. Yeah, this one definitely go to Emerson Dawson, okay? Anyway, time this hard direction, right to my angle, you know, so, yeah. Anyways, I want to know this one about, Jay Emerson Archie Road there. By the way, you can probably see wallpapers here. So I can see more outside for changing, okay? So let me set up that. There you go. Let's see that old wallpaper window. It's, yeah, you can see a little bit. There you go. Let's change wallpaper, see? For Monday, August 5th, 2019, see? So I can see what's more to take off the shirt, right on the top of this, yeah. So, anyways, everybody. Yep, definitely. Like, what you do? Except I should do a code thing in a bit, okay? Like, on the notepad, actually. Is that kind of a notepad right here? And I kind of put some here right here. See? I can change the wallpaper myself, see? On here. But, as you can see, that's going the same. See? That's why I took it off. See? That's going the same. Yeah. But why did I find? You can see it a little bit more. Yep. That's my username. It's Material Online. That's that. See? That's what we're gonna post today. That's what Jenna posted today.
So I basically lived out of my car this weekend because I went on a road trip. I was changing my clothes. I just took my car in to get detailed, and there was a pair of underwear that I must have forgotten in my car, and they left them right on the seat for me. Should I be embarrassed?
Jesse's finally lost it.
Baby, I'm a train wreck too. I lose my mind when it comes to
5 points. Season 2 premieres today. I just got ready for our premiere event. Episodes 1 through 3 are out now. Swipe up to watch them.
You know what a hot girl summer is?
There's a moment.
Tim. Let's roll, please, guys.
me later if I do really do not pay. Let us know on that. Okay, right now it's still streaming.
Hi folks, I am back with another of my occasional retro computing videos, and this one's going to be a product review of this, which is known as the Bush CRS 132 tape recorder. It looks like an old tape recorder that you would have seen back in the 1980s, used with a typical 1980s computer. It's certainly styled that way, but it's not old, it's new, because look, it's got USB, and you would never have got USB back in the 80s. It hadn't been invented. So the idea of this tape recorder is that you can take the game ROMs that you can download from the internet, put them on a USB flash drive, and load them into your 8-bit computer without actually owning the tapes. It does, of course, have a tape recorder, but so it's retro and it's modern at the same time. So I use a little utility called Tap2Wav that I got from the utilities page on the World of Spectrum website. I put a couple of games on here and we're going to try them now. So pop it in. I think it autoplays. Yep. I want to stop that because I don't want to start it playing. So on the Spectrum we got to do load, speech marks, enter, and then we go play. Let's see what we got. Okay, we've got the game Hero. And as you can see, it's loading perfectly fine. And no tape wheels are moving. So directly off USB, through the cables, to the Spectrum, and to me. So, quite an ingenious product. I should explain this strange way I've cabled it together here. I think when Bush made this, they weren't really thinking of the computer market because they put a stereo output jack rather than a mono one, which all the old tape recorders would have had. It tended to be called ear rather than headphones. So when I tried the normal mono Spectrum cable in this originally, it didn't work. So I realized I had to convert it to, there's the loading screen coming in. Very nice. Yeah, ignore these little artifacts here. The Spectrum has seen better days. It's hanging on to its life by the skin of its teeth. This was in my friend Gary's attic for a long time, and it's a small miracle that the keyboard membrane doesn't need replaced. It's actually still working perfectly, and it's powering up okay, so let's hope for the best here. But yeah, so I had a hook through my cable collection and I found a little splitter that allowed me to take a stereo mini jack to two mono phonos, and then I connected a single phono cable which had a mono mini jack on the other end of it. So that's how I got this to work with the Spectrum. There is a more elegant solution to this. You can buy the appropriate cable that will convert a stereo mini jack into two monos, but this is working fine. And here we go. I won't bother letting it complete because these games tended to take about 4 to 5 minutes to load. So we'll just we'll break out of that. I'll show you how you would do multiple games on one stick. So it's still loading in, as you can hear, but I've reset the computer. I'll do load quote again, and I'll simply press the fast forward button, and it will go to the next track, if you like, and it is Booty. But let's say I didn't want Booty, I would just hit break, do load quote again, and hold on a second, and then press fast forward again, and I'll get the next game, which is Galaxian. Okay, so this is how we do it. Let's break out of that one. Whoops. Okay. Now, interestingly, this tape recorder also, I'll just stop that. This tape recorder also has a record function. And I'll show you that now. I've got an old tape that we're going to try. It's Just Music. I wonder how many of you remember this. It's a cover tape from Computer and Video Games magazine containing the soundtrack to 720 Degrees and Outrun. So Let's see if we can record this to USB. So on the side we have a little button that switches it from USB mode to tape mode, and all we need to do to record is play the tape and hold down the play record button for a second. Whoops, there we go. And it's going fast. Now the reason I can't hear it is because I still have this cable plugged in, which is acting like headphones, which cuts out the speakers. So I'm just gonna stop it there, and when you press stop it automatically stops the recording. So if I now press play, I can take the tape out just to demonstrate that there's nothing in there. Press play. Give it a second. Oh yes, I put it onto tape mode. I gotta put it back to USB mode. There we go. And it should autoplay. I gotta fast forward through the tracks that I've got on. There we go. So we can do that. Now obviously, if you're doing that, you should also be able to record your computer games onto USB as well, if you have any on tape. And I tried this one earlier. It didn't work initially, but I tried it again after pulling the cables out of the side so there would be no interference, and it worked perfectly after that. And it's also a fast loader, which are notoriously more difficult to get working. And the fact that it worked, I was very pleased with. So if you happen to have a Spectrum and have some old tapes and you want to get them preserved digitally, this is a good product for doing that sort of thing. And now I want to come to the one disappointment that I've experienced with this. I'll just put our cables back in here. Yep. Now, you'll see also that I'm running a mono microphone cable from here around to the back of the Spectrum as well, just like you would have done back in the day with an original tape recorder. I have tried recording a program that I've typed in on the Spectrum to tape, and it didn't work. I didn't know what to make of that. I have tried that on more than one Spectrum, and the fault does seem to be with the tape recorder. Playback is great, recording to tape, not so great. But I also wondered, does the unit actually support recording directly from the Spectrum save function straight to USB while avoiding tape altogether? And it actually does make an attempt at it, and I'll show you that now. So on the Spectrum, if I'll do a very short program, 10 print, and I would have did just print hello, but I want to give it a significant number of bytes to save. Maybe see if we can get a couple of hundred bytes going here. So this is what's coming up on the screen. Okay. Okay. Quote 20, go to 10. Will we run it? It'll be a mess. There we go. But at least it's a working program, right? So I should be able to save that to tape with save, speech marks, hi, speech marks, enter, start tape, then press any key. So what I want to do is, while in USB mode, I want to hold this in to start the recording. There we go, and then enter on the keyboard, and it should save. It's not making any noise, but it is going to save it. There we go, done. And hold the button in again to stop the recording. Now let's see if this will actually better pause. Let's see if this will actually load it back in. Load quote quote. And play. Nope, it hasn't even picked up the, let's try again. There we go, this time it picked it up. Or tape loading error, you see? So, this was in no way using, hold on, this was in no way using, you know, the tape recording mechanism. It should have been a straight, the only analog part of this was from the Spectrum through the cable to the tape recorder, then the analog to digital should have taken control and converted that to a nice little MP3 file, which should have loaded back in okay. It didn't. So, Bush, I hate to say it, but you had an almost brilliant product here. It's going to work fine for most people's needs. I found it very reliable when loading my tape collection in of tapes. And I've also found it very reliable, not perfect, but certainly very reliable for most of the ROMs that I threw at it through USB. But in terms of actually recording anything using the Spectrum, saving anything from the Spectrum to this, whether to tape or to USB, it fails badly. Now I guess most people are really only interested in the Spectrum for being able to play the old games. But if you have any inclination to type in some programs and save them, you will not be able to do that effectively with this tape recorder. So that almost completes my review. I just want to mention one last thing. I bought this on a recommendation from another YouTube review that I saw of it. But when I went to Argos to buy it, there were conflicting images on the product. There was an image of this, and then there was an image of a similar tape recorder, which looked slightly different in that it had the USB connection on the side, and it had the USB control buttons up here along the top of the speaker. So when I bought it, that was the one they gave me, and it's known as the KCS317. And when I brought it home, it was dreadful. It would hardly load anything off tape. So I immediately brought it back and asked for a refund and got my refund. I then went on to eBay and sourced a second-hand CRS132, which is that model, which is the one that I originally wanted. And I am much, much happier. It seems that Bush has replaced the CRS132 with the KCS317. I don't know why, because this is a far superior product. Yeah, so be careful which one you buy, folks. Even the built-in speaker on the KCS317 was tinny beyond belief. This one is actually, although it's just a regular mono speaker and it doesn't have a lot of bass, it is kind of listenable by comparison. So yeah, remember those model numbers. This is the CRS132. This is the one that I recommend. Avoid the KCS317, which has its buttons along the top and its USB on the side. And as far as I know, it doesn't even have USB record. It's just USB playback. So there you go, folks. Hope you found this interesting, and I hope some of you might find this to be a useful product for your own retro collecting. Bye.
Hey YouTube, how you doing? This is Spoke. Man, I've got the old school radio here, and I'm gonna plug it out for a second to hear the sound coming out. And in fact, I'm using it at this moment as a kind of amplifier for my computer. This thing has an input. Let me show it to you. It's the 10 Bear Educational Audio Tutor 8771. As you can see, the thing has no back anymore. We lost it. I don't know where it is, but I feed it with power here. We have a Philips cable that we can stick in here, and then you can have like the thing playing cassettes for you. It's portable, but as you see, the thing does not have a radio. Let me bring it a little bit closer to you here, so you can take a better look at this beautiful old school recorder. And I think, if you take a good look at this recorder, Tandberg. Look at the buttons here. It has a volume for the external microphone, tone and volume. Up here we have the record button in, and this is an old trick we used to do in the past with these things, because by pressing play and record, if the thing had a line in, or as you can see here, auxiliary in, then we could use this thing as an amplifier and the sound would come out of the speaker. But there's also another trick that I want to tell you about. You see, if you use this microphone input, if you bring in a line out signal in here that you can adjust, so you can make the volume not too loud, the input volume, and you would then connect to this speaker instead of the bass speaker a tweeter, then you would hear a very high frequency sound. I'm gonna build something like that. I used to have that way back in the 80s when I was young. We used to play with these things, and well, as a matter of fact, here you also have a monitor, so you can turn off the monitor to stop resonation. That sound would like resonate. So, but this is it. It's a real nice recorder, and you don't see them anymore. The Tandberg Educational, this thing was used for making recordings, and it has a very, very good condenser microphone. Let's turn it on and let me show you a bit how it works. Up here we can insert the power like this, and I have a little cable here, the output of my computer. I put it into the line in, and then we should have sound, but of course I must put on the monitor. So this is really, really amazing, and if you see, look at the microphone, you can also see it's moving, and you can only get this if you press play and record. A little trick for those that don't know how to do that: you hit eject, and up here you see a little pin. I don't know if you see it. You hear it? Here it is. If you press that little pin, then you can now press these two buttons. You see that? If you don't press it, then you cannot push down these two buttons. So that is a trick you need to know. Cassettes, they had a lock. For instance, if to record, if you bought an empty cassette, at the top there would be like a little nipple that was on top of a hole, and then you could record with that tape. But if you made a recording and you didn't want to delete the recording anymore, then you would just pop away that little clip, and then there would be like a hole in there, and then the little thingy just goes in the hole, and then you cannot press play and record. So you cannot then record over it. Of course, by putting in a little piece of paper, you could then, get the thing back to wipe the tape. Most of the times, if you bought a tape that was created at some factory, then it would have holes on top, and that's why it was to prevent pressing the play and record and removing the recording. So this is it, peeps. I think this is a beautiful radio. I want to end this review now. Thanks again for watching, and what can I say? It's getting cold outside, it's dark. Listening to some cool reggae music is always nice. Thanks again for watching, and till my next video. Bye bye. Hey YouTube, how you doing? This is Spoke. Man, I've got the old school radio here, and I'm gonna plug it out for a second to hear the sound coming out. And in fact, I'm using it at this moment as
This here is a vintage mint-in-the-box realistic compact cassette tape recorder model CTR-11. As you can see, this is the original box. Here's the side of it. The other side looks the same. So we're going to go ahead, since I already showed you the box, I'm going to go ahead and do an unboxing review of it. So hang on just 1 second. Alright, let me adjust this camera. Alright, now let's do the unboxing. This is from 1969, by the way. This came from the original owner, and he has only used this thing only once or twice. It's been inside a closet its whole life. This is the original styrofoam. So here we go. Alright, what do we got here? Oops, hang on. Okay. In here we got the cassette tape player itself. We got, in this little case here would be the cables, and right here are 4 brand new C batteries. So, show you all of them. Here's the cables that go to the thing. I have no idea what this part goes to. Especially don't know about this weird looking thing right here. I'm sorry, but this is kind of a weird setup. Okay. And now, I'm going to break out the system itself. As you can see, it's in the original wrapping. And here it is. Show you around it what it looks like. Here's the bottom of it. Now, the owner did tell me that he has already put in 4 brand new C batteries in it, so he put in some extras just in case when the old ones go out. So, yeah, this thing's in pretty good shape for how old it is. For being 47 years old, this thing's in really good shape. It's a little dirty on the inside, but that's no big deal. Alright, now we're gonna test it out here. Okay. We're gonna go ahead and put cassette tape in. Fits in perfectly. Turn the volume up and let's do this.
Are you ready for Chrysler?
Yes. Are you ready for it?
Alright.
Yes, the new Chrysler Infinity Sound System. A remarkable new automotive sound system for the 90s.
Designed expressly for our fabulous new cars for the 90s.
To add to the interest and excitement, we challenged Infinity, America's leading speaker manufacturer, to create an automotive audio system that was simply the...
Now in order to stop this, you see this right here? It says stop on both rewind and fast forward. So in order to stop the thing, you would have to push both of them down. But which of course, yeah, it does take a while for the rewinding to operate because this thing has not been turned on in so long. So, like I said, this has been in the closet since 1969. So yeah, it hasn't been turned on in about almost 5 decades now. Alright, here we go. Let's just show you that the controls work. Now fast forward. Now play itself, which works as you guys saw. Auto level. Alright. Alright guys, well I hope you guys enjoyed this review on this 1969 realistic compact cassette tape recorder model CTR-11. So all I have to say for now is that's it, and thanks for watching.
So, we all talk about the standard uses of a tape machine, like record to a tape machine with a console, and then dump that to a DAW. I'm just going to call it Pro Tools, but when I say Pro Tools, I mean any DAW. But dump it to PT, and that's kind of that. That's how a lot of people tend to use machines, or conceive how machines are used. And then for a while there was Clasp, which... So, we all talk about the standard uses of a tape machine.
I write music, trucker style, I sing it mile after mile about all the things a good trucker knows. But it's been hard to write this song about why my engine lasts so long, 'cause I can't find anything that rhymes with Shell Rotella. You get farther down the road with Shell Rotella, even though Rotella tea don't rhyme that well. Saves your fuel, saves your oil, Shell Rotella. It's the multi-grade that's made the grade from Shell.
We hope you enjoyed our music, and thanks for giving us your business. Shell wishes you all the best as you go farther down the road.
You get farther down the road with Shell Rotella. It's the multi-grade that's made the grade from Shell.
Came across these at the swap meet yesterday, the Electronic Ham Fest, and
immediately when I saw them, I thought, well, radio, TV, Phononut. And I thought they might have been those cassette players for the blind, but I don't believe that's what they are. They're just like an institutional classroom in low industrial style cassette player. And it appears this one is new in the box with the paperwork and this one is used. In fact, this one here actually has, let's see, it says Building 3 on it like it was from a school. And I've already checked these two out, and that one there worked, and that one there needed belts. So I picked up the belts, and I was at the electronics store yesterday. Actually, taking a look at this one, it says OX School District, so Oxnard, I would assume. Anyway, I asked the gentleman what he wanted for these, and I thought he was going to quote some grossly high price, and he said $7 for everything you see here. Take it away, so I gave him $7 and walked away with it. Now, before I get into these, let me state that I'm not into cassette decks. This is a one-off video, so don't expect more cassette cassette-based videos, because I do TVs and radios. I don't do cassette players. I'm sure there's someone that does cassette players out there. So let's have a look at, well, we'll start with this one because I got the belts for this one. And unfortunately, these are made in China, but they seem like they are a really good quality made in China. And by the way, $7 is really not that far off. I was looking on eBay, and these cassette players can be had for very cheap on eBay. They are very abundant and very cheap on eBay. I'm talking about cheap, like around $10. So model 5232AV. Everything has a very nice, solid, robust feeling on this thing. This is almost like a review, like a Chinese record player review, although we're doing a kind of a vintage cassette deck review here. Okay, I'm going to get the screws out of this and we'll take a look. This one was kind of working, except that the belt was just slipping. So here's a look at the inside. It's got a fairly nice speaker, 7 watt speaker. And we've got, this is the headphone jack. Unfortunately, it does not look like it's stereo. I can't tell, but it does not look like it's stereo, why that other belt that's in this one that was under the circuit board that I didn't see is shot on both of them. The belts have got to be tight for that to work. I guess they're in good shape on the new one. These things are not bad. I'm liking these things. You can definitely tell this is probably a 5-watt model and this is a 10-watt model. This is probably a 5-inch speaker and this may be a 4-inch. This is impressive. The big disappointment with this for me is that it's not stereo. Oh, and by the way, you can use these things as a PA. I was reading in the manual, you could plug a mic in there and put it on PA, And well, on this one, you can put it on PA, and you can use these things as a PA. I don't have any mics that are whatever that is, 3.5 millimeter or 3.2 millimeter. All my mics are XLR, so I don't, this is probably some custom thing. Who knows if it's a condenser or dynamic or what it is. So, but you can use it as a PA, not that you would want to. Oh yeah, and they do run on batteries. They do have, you can run them on, I think, 4D cells. See there, the battery. Yeah, there you go, 4D cells. Okay, here's a box of cassettes I found in one of those abandoned mining town things. Cassette head cleaner, we don't want that. Okay, let's try this one. This one looks like a mixtape. It just says further down the road. Truck driving music. It's gonna be good.